The Steet Ponte Auto Group in Herkimer and Yorkville and Turnbull Insurance Service since 1866 present Mohawk Valley Living, exploring the arts, culture, and heritage of our region. A special good morning to Sandra Bowers, watching and reading in Texas.
Good morning and welcome to Mohawk Valley Living. Today we are traveling all over, including a trip to the shores of beautiful Otsego Lake to this place, which is a secret garden, I guess. Stay tuned to find out what I'm talking about. And this Tuesday is July 1st. You know what that means. The new issue of Mohawk Valley Living will be hitting the stands, so be sure to pick up your copy.
Pick up the July issue of Mohawk Valley Living magazine, available this Tuesday, July 1st at over 250 mom and pop stores and restaurants. Inside you'll find local stories and articles all about our area. New this month, Mohawk Valley Living magazine is available online the same day as the print edition. You can flip through the pages on your computer or smartphone, or even download it to print off the pages you want or share with out-of-town relatives. Mohawk Valley Living magazine available online the first of each month at mohawkvalleyliving.com and on our Facebook page.
Swimming down at old Johnston's pond, getting chased by honeybees, gigging frogs, and I let them go with my old dog Blue at my side. I learned to drive in the
The Steet Ponte Auto Group is proud to bring Mohawk Valley Living to you each week, serving the Utica area and the Valley with outstanding customer service. In Yorkville at Steet Ponte Ford Lincoln Mazda, Steet Ponte Volkswagen, and Steet Toyota Scion. And in Herkimer at Steet Ponte Chevrolet. Stop in and see why it's so easy to do business with Steet Ponte. You go the extra mile for your small business and should expect the same from your insurance company. For over 140 years, Turnbull Insurance Service has been committed to local small business. For your commercial coverage, turn to the company ready to go that extra mile. Turn to Turnbull. Have a big adventure in Little Falls. Visit Canal Harbor and Rotary Park, rent a kayak and paddle along the Mohawk River and Canal. Catch the Mohawk Valley Diamond Dogs in action. Discover Lock 17 and explore the geological wonder Moss Island. Plan your big adventure in Little Falls.
The people you know, the rock you love, and more songs per hour. 92.7 FM, The Drive, Central New York's locally owned independent rock station.
It's the sale you've been waiting for, the 28th annual store-wide super sale at Adirondack Furniture. Save 30 to 70% store-wide, including Amish rockers and gliders, solid oak furniture, and custom bedrooms and dining rooms. Twin log beds starting at $399 and 25% off in-stock Lane furniture. Ask about 0% financing and free delivery. Buy American made and save during the super sale at Adirondack Furniture, Riverside Center in North Utica, and online at AdirondackHomeFurniture.com. Melrose Supermarket is your family hometown market, known for their choice hand-cut meats, homemade breads, and fresh pastas and salads. Check out the weekly specials at Melrose Supermarket, East Main Street in Frankfort.
Now through August 24th, visit Cooperstown and the Fenimore Art Museum's new exhibition, Winslow Homer, The Nature and Rhythm of Life. Explore over 23 rarely seen original oil paintings and watercolors by one of America's foremost 19th century painters, now displayed as a complete collection for the very first time.
For more information, visit FenimoreArtMuseum.org.
The Fenimore Art Museum overlooking Otsego Lake in Cooperstown. Great American art in a beautiful setting.
I learned to drive in the old cornfield. Got stuck once in a while. And laying back in the summer.
It's a beautiful day to take the scenic drive along Otsego Lake to the Fenimore Art Museum. This stunning Neo-Georgian building was built in the 1930s on the site of James Fenimore Cooper's early 19th century farmhouse. Today it houses an impressive art collection as well as changing shows like the current Winslow Homer exhibit.
It's a collection I've been aware of for a long time. The Arkell Museum in Canajoharie has been known for decades for having 21 Winslow Homer paintings, which is highly unusual for even a major museum, and they're right here in our backyard. They don't always have the ability to show them. It's a smaller institution, so we wanted to help make the collection better known. We also love Winslow Homer. We wanted a Winslow Homer show, so we worked with the Arkell to bring this collection together, to catalog it, have scholars write essays about it, and then to have it on view here this summer. And the result is Winslow Homer, The Nature and Rhythm of Life. He could paint exceptionally well in oil and in watercolor. He did phenomenal works for Harper's Weekly that were reproduced as engravings. He covered a wide range of subjects in American life in the late 19th century. He's one of the few artists that stayed in the United States rather than travel abroad extensively, and so we've got great views of coastal life, of farm life, of life near the sea. Just a fantastic artist, and wonderful expressions of the relationship of people and our natural surroundings. Well, the Arkell collection, it was put together in the early 20th century by Bartlett Arkell. It's never been seen together. And it's a fantastic collection because it covers Homer's whole career. And so we've got 23 works here, 21 of which are from the Arkell. We borrowed 2 others that were originally owned by Mr. Arkell, but are not at the Arkell Museum. One's from the Metropolitan Museum of Art and others from a private collection, but they've never been seen together before. You get this great view of this one collector's vision of this great artist's entire career. Well, Homer's a personal favorite of mine. I've admired his works for many, many years. I've been involved in art exhibits for a long time. We actually did a Homer exhibit 10 years ago, and it was an exhibit on Winslow Homer, specifically in the Adirondacks. It's a great, episode of his life, and people responded unbelievably well. We had just record numbers of people. And since that time, I've wanted to do another Homer exhibit. It's very hard to borrow Homers from a number of sources because a lot of big museums like keeping them on view. The Arkell saw this as a great opportunity to make their collection better known. So it was kind of a match made in heaven between the Arkell Museum and the Fenimore Art Museum.
Don't miss the Winslow Homer exhibit, on display through August 24th. The Fenimore Art Museum is open daily from 10 to 5. Located on Highway 80, 1 mile north of the village of Cooperstown. Online at fenimoreartmuseum.org. No trip to the Fenimore Art Museum is complete without a stroll across the street to the Farmers Museum. This land has been part of a working farm since 1813, when it was owned by James Fenimore Cooper. We're given a tour and an update about all that is happening at the Farmers Museum by their new Director of Education, Danielle Newell.
Oh my goodness, we have so much going on this summer. It's really, really exciting. First of all, we're going to be doing a new program called Featured Farm. And so every single Friday, we're going to have a local farm coming down, and they'll be showing what they sell. They'll be doing demonstrations. They'll have literature so you can learn more about farming and what it actually entails and the importance that it has to our community. So I'm really thrilled about that, and it's going to lead into a conference and all kinds of good stuff coming up in the next year. We've got these wonderful themed weekends. One is herbal remedies. We've got one on quilting that comes up, a Civil War life weekend. So a lot of really, really interesting opportunities to get deeply engaged in specific things. One thing that I'm particularly excited about, because it's brand new, is dramatic interpretation or first-person interpretation. We already have these wonderful teachers. They're really teachers in historic clothing. What we're adding now is this whole new element where we will have first-person interpreters or dramatic interpreters, and they will be not only in historic clothing but in character as historic figures, and they will be interacting with and engaging with our visitors, as well as performing these really wonderful vignettes and scenes that are based on historic events throughout history in central New York in particular. And it's going to be really, really interesting and exciting. That's going to be happening exclusively on Saturdays and Sundays this year as we launch the program, and we're hoping to grow it in the future.
The Farmers Museum is open daily from 10 to 5, located 1 mile north of Cooperstown on Highway 80. Learn more about their Step Back in Time themed weekends at farmersmuseum.org.
You know it stands so tall, reaching high in the new blue sky.
On our drive home, we stop about a mile north of the museum to a secret garden. We first discovered Brookwood Garden back in 2008 when it was owned by the Cook Foundation. Today it is managed by the Otsego Land Trust, an organization working to protect and maintain this historic garden, as well as other area lands and water.
Well, Brookwood Point has a very long history. The most famous part of that happens around the late 19th turn of the 20th century, when a man named Frederick DePater Townsend came and owned the house and designed these gardens. They're Italianate gardens, and they've been continuously cultivated from then until now. And the Land Trust appropriated the Cook Foundation, came together with them when they were struggling to take care of the property. The community was very supportive in order to keep Brookwood as a public space, which it is. It's a public space. People can come here, they can enjoy these gardens, they can sit by the lake, they can stroll around. We also do events here. We do weddings here. We do community events. If a community organization wants to use the property to have an event, we do those types of things here. So Brookwood is a place that everybody can enjoy. It's a place of history, our history, and the people who came before. And it's also a place of incredible natural assets. We have wetlands. We have these incredible gardens. We have the stream bed and the woods up above. We have the lake and the lake shore here. Sites like this are becoming more and more rare everywhere, where you have the integration of human history with natural history. So this is a unique and special place, and it's special to the folks who understand and have a long time commitment to this community, as well as to people who've never seen it before. And the Land Trust, we rely on the support of our community. We are not independently wealthy. Like many small nonprofits, we survive on donations and the care and commitment to healthy land and clean water and places like this of our community members. So we have our public access sites because we want to connect people to the land and to love it and to care for it because they feel a connection to it, a caring for it. We're fighting with everything that we have to keep Brookwood in the public domain, in the community domain, and we need the community to help us with that.
Brookwood Garden at Brookwood Point is located on Highway 80, about 2 miles north of Cooperstown. To learn more about this historic garden, how you can contribute or volunteer, or hold a wedding or special event, visit OtsegoLandTrust.com.
I'm making this valley my own.
When planning your family's future, turn to the principles of the past. Turn to Turnbull. Turnbull Insurance Service is an independent agency representing the most dependable companies for all your insurance needs, as well as complete financial planning and wealth management. Call today for a free assessment. Whether you're looking to sell or buy your first home, retirement property, farm, or lake house, call River Hills Properties. Agents look forward to meeting with you to present a personalized plan. River Hills Properties, bringing you home. Call 896-1009. Look and feel amazing at the graduation, tea, or garden party in a fun, comfortable dress from the Village Crossing. Check out the fabulous summer fashion in Clinton. Your garden is only as good as its plants. The premier growers and Cornell School of Agriculture graduates at the Mum Farm grow 99% of what they sell. So for your perennials, container gardens, vegetable transplants and herbs, trees and shrubs, shop the exceptional plants at the family-owned Mum Farm Garden Center on Red Hill Road in New Hartford. The Fenimore Art Museum is open for the season with 6 new exhibits, including A Moment Past. L.F. Tantillo paints New York history. Tantillo's work brings the past to life through his remarkable historically accurate paintings. His paintings celebrate maritime themes, focusing on little-known subject matter depicting the early history of New York State. His work is widely collected and appears in exhibits all over the world, including Cooperstown at the Fenimore Art Museum, open Tuesday through Sunday, 10 to 4. Now you can take out hot specials for lunch and dinner at Maria's Pasta Shop, and on Sundays, fried dough, fried meatballs, and fresh-baked rolls. Maria's Pasta Shop, Oneida Street, Utica. Expecting company? Just call Deansboro Superette. They prepare delicious Middle Eastern platters for any number of guests. Call 841-4377. North Star Orchards is open for the season. The greenhouse is full of potted plants, annuals, and vegetables, and outside you'll find perennials, trees, shrubs, and topsoil. The bakery's open too, with fresh pies, cookies, breads, and muffins at North Star Orchards, Route 233, Westmoreland.
Loyalty is something you can't sell, not something that you find in a wishing well.
Some of the greatest attractions in Cooperstown, but often taken for granted, are the beautiful plants and flowers gracing the sidewalks, landmarks, and churches throughout the village. The staff at the Clark Foundation greenhouses are busy collecting summer plants to be replaced with plants and flowers for the fall season.
Well, we're here at the Clark Foundation greenhouses. Probably that we can trace our origins back to Susan Vanderpool Clark. The current grandmother, or the grandmother of our current Jane Forbes Clark, president of the Clark Foundation. Her passion for greenhouses, she had her own greenhouses here on the estate, and for the village of Cooperstown combined to where she had started to grow. In her greenhouses, they grew hanging baskets, donated them to the village. They also grew poinsettias that were given to the churches. It was said she was a very religious woman. She attended all 5 churches here in town, so she also gave and donated poinsettias at Christmas and lilies at Easter. More baskets. The program has just grown. The Clark Foundation ultimately took over the management of it, and it has just been a very great response. It's just grown and grown and grown to where there seems to be no end in sight. The best way to experience this is throughout the village of Cooperstown itself. The greenhouses here and where we grow everything is all private property, and it's felt by our management that the best place to view it is throughout the village. We grow for approximately 16 sites, mostly nonprofit sites or Clark affiliated sites, and of course the churches. There's the Fenimore House, Otesaga, Cooper Inn, Scholarship Program, Clark Sports Center are just a few of them. You'll see it on Main Street. You'll see geraniums in the churches throughout the summer, soon to be removed and planted with thousands of tulips for the spring. Generally throughout the village. And then the entire concept, I think, is to offer a little something more than baseball, just make it a more beautiful village, and yet another reason to come here is to enjoy the horticulture in this town. Why I kind of was born into it, literally. Both my grandfather was a manager on the property here and ran these greenhouses. As a young child, I grew up in this estate throughout the greenhouses. My great uncle ran a private greenhouse several miles away, so I literally grew up from diapers to current stage in a greenhouse. Went away to school, Morrisville for 2 years, Cornell for 2 more. Worked in actually Utica, New York, in Baker greenhouses. Left that to run my own place for a little while, and then the opportunity, I really never was expected to be back here, but the opportunity kind of came up, and I left my own business and came here and never looked back.
Do you know what this is? This is a poinsettia, a very green poinsettia before it turns red and graces the inside of the Fenimore Art Museum at Christmas time.
Be sure to look for the beautiful autumn plants and flowers throughout Cooperstown, courtesy of the Clark Foundation greenhouses. You can see them at the Farmers Museum, Fenimore Art Museum, the Otesaga Hotel, the Cooperstown churches, and throughout downtown Cooperstown. If you're looking for another adventure, head south of Cooperstown to Origins Cafe at Carefree Gardens. This new dining experience is the creation of 2 sisters who grew up in their parents' greenhouses. Their tropical cafe celebrates the local harvest, infused with a food culture from other countries. The sisters spend their winters abroad, working on organic farms.
Yeah, we always grew up running around the plants, and it's been a really integral part of our lives. So as we've grown up, we've both gravitated towards environmental issues, and we both went to school for environmental studies, environmental sciences, and we came into food through that perspective. Neither of us went to school to be chefs, but we have learned so much about the environmental impacts of food that we decided this was one way that we could help make a difference in the community and support the local community, agriculture, as well as environmental health on a larger scale. We're serving out of a food truck, which we take all over town to different concerts over at Omegang, harvest festivals, wherever we can go, and then the rest of the time we serve here at Origins at Carefree Gardens. Our dreams for the future, we'd love to grow more of our own produce here and have people, allow people to have a closer experience with the food that they're eating. So we'd love for people to be able to taste local food, be able to know who the farmer is that grew their food, and know where they can buy a local product if they choose to. So we'd like to be an access point for the local community to connect with local farms beyond the farmers market.
Origins Cafe is located 2 miles south of Cooperstown at 558 Beaver Meadow Road. It is open daily 11 to 5. See a sample menu at celebrateorigins.com. We head back up to Main Street, Cooperstown to Schneider's Bakery. Since 1887, people walking by have been tempted by the baked goods in the large display windows. Today, Chef Jason Long carries on his family's fresh baked tradition.
When I was a child, I worked here for my uncle. My uncle took over from my grandfather in the 80s. And then I worked for him as a child right when I was 15, 16. And then I went to culinary school and came back and got it myself. We make old-fashioned cake donuts. We make black and white cookies. We make a ton of cookies and lots of different cakes, pies, everything pretty much. There's not really bakeries anymore. They're all in the supermarkets now, so it's kind of a little niche. Just the tradition itself. I mean, just because I've always been in food, so it's just one of those things that brings you back to the basics, where everything's been processed now and all cut up, and they've taken a lot of the skill out of the kitchen, so it's nice to be here where you actually need it and you can't be replaced by a machine.
Sons of the native land, there are sons yet to be born to carry on the work we've just begun. Well, good times may come and good times go, but one thing stays the same. It's the feeling I get when I look around. It lets me know I'm home. I'm making this.
Watch Mohawk Valley Living on Fox WFXB every Sunday at 7:30 a.m. and 11 o'clock p.m., followed by an encore. And now also available on WUTR every Sunday morning at 11:30 a.m. The Steet Ponte Auto Group is proud to bring Mohawk Valley Living to you each week, serving the Utica area and the Valley with outstanding customer service. In Yorkville at Steet Ponte Ford Lincoln Mazda, Steet Ponte Volkswagen, and Steet Toyota Scion. And in Herkimer at Steet Ponte Chevrolet. Stop in and see why it's so easy to do business with Steet Ponte. See the difference small family-run greenhouses can make. From hanging baskets to vegetables, Zarek Greenhouses offers herbicide and pesticide-free plants, and they only sell what they grow. Zarek Greenhouses, East South Street in Clinton, and online at zarekgreenhouses.com.
Hi, welcome to the Little Falls Antique Center in the shops at 25 West. We have 2 full floors with 50 vendors of interesting and unique products ranging from specialized to very eclectic, primitive to the not so primitive. Remember, shop local, we're worth the trip.
Pick up the free Mohawk Valley Living magazine the first of each month at local businesses and your closest Stewart shop. For a complete list of pickup locations, visit MohawkValleyLiving.com. Mohawk Valley Living magazine. See what's in it for you. Call Yannick Excavating for all your residential and commercial projects, from new construction and land clearing to septic systems, driveways, basements, ponds, and topsoil. Visit YannickExcavating.com.
Hi, Dr. Tom. Bringing your cat to the Paris Hill Cat Hospital on Sundays is a part of Mohawk Valley Living. Come inside and see why.
Paris Hill Cat Hospital, this is Lindsay. How can I help you? Hello, Mrs. Cole. Your cat is losing weight and you need an appointment? And you're only available on weekends. Sure, I have an available appointment with Dr. Karen Sunday at 2 p.m. Does that fit into your schedule? Okay.
We're open 7 days a week because we know that your cat can become ill anytime. The Paris Hill Cat Hospital, quality care for your cats and kittens.
When you shop Mealan's Market, you'll be the grill master. That's because every hot dog, beef patty, and sausage is made by Bob Mealan himself. Find everything for your next cookout, from store-made meats to fresh salads and tabbouleh, at Mealan's Market at the Four Corners in Clark Mills. That special art, photograph, or memorabilia deserves a special frame. Oscars creates one-of-a-kind gold and silver leaf mirrors and frames. Oscars Picture Framing, 12 Kellogg Road, New Hartford. Tom's Natural Foods is your connection to local farms for natural and organic fruits and vegetables, meats, eggs, cheeses, and other milk products. At Tom's Natural Foods in Clinton, naturally. We drive through the Glimmerglass State Park and walk through an old gatehouse and over a footbridge and meet a tour group touring Hyde Hall. Hyde Hall is an historic country mansion and one of the few surviving works of New York State architect Philip Hooker, also known for the Hamilton College Chapel facade and Albany City Hall. Declared a National Historic Landmark, the mansion is undergoing a long-term restoration.
Well, it was built over a number of different years, starting in 1817, and it was finally completed in 1835. And it was built by a man named George Clark, who had inherited over 100,000 acres from his colonial ancestors. Even though he was born in England and raised there, he came over here because of this vast inheritance. And he built this house as the center for this property that he owned, scattered all over New York. Well, he picked this location in particular for the view. As you'll see, it's a spectacular 8-mile view down Lake Otsego to Cooperstown and then to the hills behind. But his American wife also grew up in Cooperstown, was married to a Cooper, and her family property was a neighboring place, and he obviously was introduced to it through her, and I think that connection plus the drama of the view inspired him to buy the land here and perch this huge house on the side of a hill. It's called Hyde Hall because the Clark family had married into the Hyde family in the early 18th century, and they had a family estate in England called Hyde Hall. So what George Clark was basically doing once he inherited the Hyde Hall estate in England is move his family over here to America and built another family seat, if you will, or center for the family, and he called it Hyde Hall. Well, it's a big rambling structure, as you know, and it was built over time to be purposely a sort of a jumble of different buildings, a picturesque series of shapes and spaces that fit into the landscape, but it's all classical, it's all Grecian in form, so that it has this interesting combination of being asymmetrical but also very classical. Our goal for the public is to introduce them to this extraordinary building, but also the whole heritage of New York. The agricultural background for the basis for this house, the picturesque setting that it has, the appreciation of nature, the quality of the craftsmanship that were here. These were all local workers who did this. The architect was a man from Albany named Philip Hooker, and then the contents were all purchased, mostly in Albany as well as in New York City, between about 1813 when he was living in Albany up to 1835 when he died here at Hyde Hall.
What it is.